The stage is dimly lit. A single stool sits center stage next to a small wooden crate. Elias, now in his late 50s, enters. He wears a high-quality but simple wool sweater. He carries a small, battered manila envelope. He speaks directly to the audience with a calm, grounded warmth. "People think wealth is a sudden storm," Elias begins, tapping the envelope against his palm. "They think it's a lightning strike, a lottery ticket, a lucky inheritance, a once-in-a-lifetime tip. But for me, it was a drizzle, a slow, steady drip that eventually filled an ocean." He sits on the stool, looking back at the empty space as if seeing his younger self. 30 years ago, I stood in the back of a diner at 2:00 a.m., scraping burnt onions off a flat-top grill. My hands were cracked, and my back felt like a rusted hinge. My friend Marcus, God bless him, was always showing off his wins. A new watch, a faster car, a bigger TV. He lived in the now. I lived in the maybe. I remember the first time I put $12 into this envelope. $12. Marcus laughed so hard he nearly choked on his soda. He said, "Elias, that won't even buy you a steak dinner. Why bother?" I told him I wasn't buying dinner. I was buying time. Elias stands up, pacing slowly. By year 10, the maybe started to look like a definitely. I wasn't rich, but I was quiet. While everyone else was screaming at the news because the market dipped or the economy shook, I stayed still. I remembered what an old woman at the diner, Ms. Greer, told me. Inflation is a moth. If you leave your money in a sock, the moth eats it. If you put it to work, it grows muscles. There was a night, I'll never forget it, when my car died. A total engine failure. I had $40,000 in my investment account. I could have bought a brand new car in cash. Marcus told me I was a martyr for living in a bus pass when I had bank. But I looked at the math. I realized that $40,000 left alone for 20 more years wasn't just $40,000. It was $250,000. I wasn't choosing between a car and a bus. I was choosing between a shiny metal box today and total freedom tomorrow. I took the bus. He stops pacing and looks down at the envelope. The magic of it is that it's boring. It's the most boring miracle in the world. You don't see it happening. Then one day, you're 55, you wake up, and you look at a screen. And the number there? It's more money than your father made in his entire lifetime. It's more money than you could spend if you tried. I saw Marcus last month. He's still working. Not because he wants to, but because he has to. He's still chasing the now. He looked at my life and said, "You got lucky." Elias smiles sadly and shakes his head. "I didn't get lucky. I just decided to wait. I planted a seed 30 years ago, and I didn't dig it up every week to see if it was growing. I just watered it. And now?" He looks around the room, then places the envelope on the crate. "Now the sun is out, and I finally have all the time in the world.